Hi, everybody. I'm coming to you today from outer space, right? No, that is just a virtual background. Anyhow, what I really want to talk to you about is what you can do to protect yourself and everybody you love and your whole community from this annoying COVID-19 virus. It is to wear really effective masks. Now, you might know me as you're a relationship coach or a performance coach for business. And also you might remember that I'm actually a retired physician, but I have specialized in OBGYN. What you probably don't know is that back in the 80s, I worked at New York Hospital, now Cornell Weill, the Cornell University Center in the infectious diseases department. And it was back in the 80s where we actually had the very first AIDS patients, at that time not knowing what it was and how it got transmitted. So we were visiting these patients in full hazmat suits. Can you imagine? Pretty crazy. But now we know that this virus is transmitted through the air and from somebody's breath. And you know that 6 feet of distance may be enough to not get anything when you're just talking. But as soon as you start exhaling more forcefully, like when you're working out or singing, or God forbid you cough or sneeze, you know, these droplets can get expelled at up to 100 miles per hour. You can infect the whole room very quickly. And listen, you don't want to be the person like this woman who had no idea that she was a carrier of COVID, brought it home to her parents, and both of the parents got it and died from it. So please wear effective masks. Now, what are effective masks? I'm actually thinking that with effective masks, we could have opened up the country much earlier than is happening now. If everybody would wear them and be consistent about it, the virus would get trapped in the mask. And I get to this in a second. What is an effective mask? If you're looking at what the health people can get and nobody else anymore on the internet, it's the P95 or the N95s right now. P95, N95, R95, KN95. The important number here is the 95. What that means is that 95 of the viruses cannot get through that filter. It means only 5 out of 100 will get through. Now, the thing is this, the mask, it's not like a sieve. It's not like that 95% will still stay outside and only 5 can come through. What happens is that the mask traps 95 out of 100 of these particles. And because it traps them, it can get saturated over time. So an effective mask cannot be, one that lasts forever because it's going to be saturated. So I actually do have what is this? It's an N95 right here. And from the back of it, you may see, well, that looks pretty clean in there, but it's been used numerous times and it's, oh my goodness, can't even show this with that background. It's definitely not effective anymore in trapping anything because it's so old. So this needs to go in the trash. I have another one here that's even worse. You can see it definitely here now, the discoloration and everything. This is a P95 and it has a valve. The ones with the valve are actually masks that will let you exhale uninhibited. So if you're a carrier, you will still spit out into the environment. It just traps the particles that come in. And obviously this needs to go into the trash as well. Now the hard part is getting those 95 masks because there are really none on the market. The thing is this, the one that you find, even KN95s that the CDC said were acceptable, the KN denomination, meaning they're coming from China, are most likely counterfeit. And if they're legit, you're paying a total rip-off price for them. But the good news is there is an alternative. So what is a good effective mask? Like I mentioned, the PNR designation or KN is all equal. This just pertains to the way it is resistant to oil. A P95, like the one I showed you previously, is resistant, highly resistant to oil mists, and an N95 is not, but that doesn't matter for the COVID-19 virus. N95, KN95 is good enough. 95 masks, as I said, you can really not buy anymore, but you can make it yourself. A good and effective mask must have 2 things, or actually 3. It has to be sealing off completely. So if you're thinking of a bandana that goes over your face, most likely will leave an air gap, a channel here that air can get in and out unhindered, and the same on the bottom. So an effective mask is sealing off, and it has a good filter in it, like the N95s. You can make such a mask, and I will show you what one of those can look like. This is my close to N95 mask. You can see that it has a good breathing space, so it's not just flat across the face where you inhale the fabric into your mouth and choke from it. And it has a pouch, and this pouch is the filter. This filter material has been tested as going close to 95%. The mask itself was designed by Chloe Schempf, who is a high-end designer, and she made it so that it seals the face off of most adults. And with a very short little alteration to the pattern, which she made publicly available, you can adapt it to children or to smaller faces. Like my face is not that big, my head is not that big. So for me, the pattern, I had to just tweak it a little bit. And I'll actually show you in a video, and I'll give you the link after this quick talk, where I show you how to sew this on your home sewing machine. The good thing about the pouch is that you can take the filter out once it's used and throw it out and put another filter in. And this one is 100% cotton, so fully washable and reusable. It is my opinion that everybody should have at least 2 or 3 of those at home. So one can be washed, one can be used, and maybe a third can be sitting there in quarantine, if you will. You don't even need to wash it. After 3 days, the virus should be dead and not being in the mask anymore. The important thing is the filter material. So Chloe Schempf got so far as having numerous materials tested, which ones work best in conjunction with the shell and the liner of these masks. And she made all this information available to the public. And I will give you the links also at the end of this video where you can test it out. And I will, if you want to look at the video of how to sew it, at the very end, I'm making a clip about the materials that I used, which materials are more effective or highly effective anyway, but a lot cheaper than what I'm using right here. So I'm just wanting to tell you, please, if you don't know if you got it, you could be somebody's death. So I know you feel maybe your freedom is impacted by this. It's not. And you're not under siege. What you are is under attack. You're under attack by an invisible enemy that can come out of your family members, or your neighbors, or your friend's mouth, or even your own. So instead of running the risk of really infecting somebody like this woman did with her parents, be the hero. Wear the mask, an effective mask, so you can protect yourself and others from this unseen enemy, the coronavirus. And maybe in the future, other pandemics, that they will definitely come. We have so many people on the planet, and everything is so now with the travel and everything is so interwoven and interchanged that it will get, another pandemic will come. You have these masks, they are reusable, and you can sew them yourself. So I really implore you, do that. Trust me, they work. I mean, they work. That's how they got tested, with the same machines that testing the N95s, the legit N95 masks, the same machines. And Chloe Schempf made available all of these test results, available to the public, the pattern, etc. I'll put all the links at the end of this video as well. So I implore you to be someone's hero and sew yourself a mask that is very close to an N95, so you can go out there in good conscience and interact with people again. Oh, and what I forgot to tell you, I'm just gonna put this little snippet in between, is that when I mentioned that the N95 masks, or the ones that you can be making that are coming close to an N95, because it all hinges on that filter material, right? This one here, these filters, as I said, don't act like a sieve. So it doesn't mean that if they're only letting 5 out of 100 particles through the other 95 stay on the outside or on the inside. So if you would be positive and have virus inside of you and inside your air, inside the air you're breathing, it's not that this mask is holding them back and you're having more and more virus inside of you. It's actually trapping them in the filter material. This is why the N95s, if you can get legitimate ones, or for the people that work in the healthcare industry, they have a shelf life. They're going to be saturated at one point. They can't trap more and more and more of this virus material or any kind of material because of the fibers that will be saturated at one point, and at that point it becomes absolutely useless. So with a mask like this, you can sew yourself. You will be able to wash it, reuse it, just dump the filter material that is now saturated with anything and insert a new one. A little piece goes, a piece of that material goes a long way, and you only need a little piece per mask just to cover the nostrils and the mouth. And just as a warning, if you're taking a bandana, we said 95% effectiveness for a legitimate P95 or N95 mask. Bandana is about 15%. It will let 85% through. And a surgical mask, the one that are usually, the blue on the outside, white on the inside, they can be between 15 and 60% only. And that's because the seal is maybe not 100%. The filter material is nowhere near what we're using in these. And that's why also, like I mentioned, the way you make these masks, they're with a nose clamp, because if it's straight, it would come straight up. And I think I can demonstrate this if it's straight. You see my glasses flopping up when it's straight. That's why the nose clamping here is important too. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Please be safe. Get yourself an effective mask.
I have my gorgeous model here with me, and she'll demonstrate first how to put on the one that has these ties in the back. Thank you so much.